Hi everybody, I am Fran Gulick of Cut and Enjoy, and today I'm here with a quick and fun tutorial to do for all of our little bookworms. Some fun fabric bookmarks. These are great for gifts or stocking stuffers, and they're just super fun to make, especially with any scraps that you might have at home. All you need to make these fun little bookmarks is just 2 pieces of fabric. Mine are a little bigger. If you just have some scraps, they work great, especially like the leftover from your binding. That's really perfect for the size that we need. And then all you need is some fusible interfacing. Medium weight interfacing, it's also called craft fuse. If you Google craft fuse, you'll find it. And then if you want to add some tassel, you need some yarn or embroidery thread, and then you can also do some ribbon that you can just have around at home, or you can just not have anything if that's what's easier for you. So the first thing I am going to do is make the tassel, actually, because we'll need that before we put our bookmark together. And the tassel is really easy to do. You just need a piece already cut. It doesn't really matter. I like to have about 8 inches. And then you'll take your thread, embroidery thread. I think it's number 8 weight. You'll just have 2 or 3 fingers. It kind of depends on how your personal preference is for how sort of long your tassel is. You can do 2 or 3. I think I usually do 3. And you'll just wrap it, and I just count in my head to 20. So 20 loops. The more loops you do, the fluffier it'll be. I find 20, it's about the right amount for a bookmark. So 1, 2, 3. Once you've wrapped it, all you need to do then is just cut it, and hopefully yours doesn't become a mess like mine. And you take it off your fingers, and this is why I like to have this one already cut. You're just gonna go in here and go to the very top, and then I just do a couple of quick knots on the top. And then just kind of hold this out, and now you'll cut down here. And at this point, you can kind of start, they're all kind of different sizes. Just kind of trim it so it has a nice haircut. And then you'll take one more piece from your thread. Again, about 8-10 inches, you can just eye it. And at this point, what you'll do is wrap here on the head, basically. You'll give it a little neck, and you'll just wrap it 3 or 4 times. And there we go. And again, you'll make a knot. Whoops. It's easier if you lay it down to make this knot. And sometimes I like to kind of wrap it again and then do another knot. And then at this point, I'll do 2 knots on it. And then to hide the knot, I take a needle, and I'll thread both of these ends and kind of push it into the middle of your tassel. So this is the not so pretty part, I guess. Hopefully it goes fast. Yep, so I just put both in there, and then you'll just kind of put it here in the middle and just push your needle down, and then, whoops, pull it down with some force. Maybe don't make your knot too tight. There we go. So once you pull it down, that knot, it's gonna kind of go into the center of your tassel, so it will be hidden. And then you can just cut this make it nice and pretty. We're gonna put that over there. So then once your tassel is done, we can move on to the fabric. And I am going to trim these two to the size that we need, which is 2 3/4 by 7 1/4. So 2 3/4. Gonna give it a nice clean edge at the top. So, whoops. So it's 2 3/4 by 7 1/4. There we go. There we go. And we'll do the same thing with this one here. Same size, 2 3/4 by 7 1/4. And then once you have those two pieces, you can you'll fuse your interfacing to the front of the bookmark. In this case, I have two prints, but this one has a print and a solid, so the print is kind of the front. You can use interfacing on both of them. It just kind of depends on how stiff you want your bookmark. So this one has one piece of interfacing, and you can see it's a little floppier than this one, which has two. It doesn't really make a difference on the construction. I'll be doing one interfacing in this one. And what you do is you take your front, and on the wrong side of it, you have a shiny side of your interfacing that goes down. And you don't need to measure, you just kind of eye it into the middle. And then you press down with your iron, and that's going to fuse your interfacing to the fabric. And if you were doing interfacing on both of them, you would do it on this one as well. And then what you do is you take these two pieces of fabric and lay them right size together. And if you're going to be adding the tassel, you kind of put the tassel right there in the middle, right size together, and I'd like to add a pen here just to sort of keep everything together. And we'll start here at the top to make sure that our tassel is attached, and what we're going to be doing is sewing right next to the interfacing, so right on the edge of the interfacing, and we're going to leave a big gap here so we can turn it inside out. So and the other thing to remember here is I like to take my stitch length down, especially if I'm doing the tassel, to make sure that it's there in there really well. So we're gonna do the top first to secure the tassel in. I'll go back and forth a couple times to just make sure that that tassel is really well attached. And then once I've gone a couple of times, I'm just gonna start sewing around, get to the corner, and we'll pivot here. And I'll only go a little bit down, and then I am going to leave my gap here. So I'm gonna trim these threads really quick, and then I'm gonna come down here and then go all the way around again. Pivot. And I'm gonna pivot again. And just to be extra sure, I'm gonna sew through on top of that tassel again. And now we can trim out the threads. And at this point, I'll go ahead and trim the extra of my tassel here. And now with some bigger scissors, what I'm gonna do is kind of trim the corner so it's easier to turn this over and make sure that it lays nice and flat. and I'll set my seams. And at this point, I'll go ahead and turn this over, and I guess this is the not so pretty part of this. And we're turning it upside, right side out, sorry. And if you have something to kind of push your corners out so they're nice and crisp. Right there, and we'll do that with all 4 corners. Oops. And then we have that big gap. What I like to do is use my interfacing kind of as a guide to press that in. And I'll go ahead and set it here. And then for the other side, I use that as a guide. Just kind of make sure it's laying nice and even. Oops. And then give it a nice press. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it back to our machine and top stitch all the way around, and that's gonna close that gap that we have. And when you get to your corner, you wanna make sure that you finish at the corner with your needle down. That makes it a lot easier to pivot. And here you want to make sure that your tassel is kind of out of the way. And then when you've come all the way around to where you started, just go back and forth a couple times just to make sure that all your stitches are nice and secure. And then now all we need to do is just trim these threads. And we have a bookmark. That's all you really need for this project. And like I said, it's super fun if you have a lot of scraps and things. I know we all do in our sewing rooms, and it's just fun to make as gifts for people in our lives. And all the details on the sizes of the fabric and the interfacing are going to be in the description of the video. I hope you have enjoyed this today. Thank you so much.